Hello YouTube, CivilianSnowman here, and today I'm going to review Shutter Island, the new film directed by Martin Scorsese, which marks his millionth collaboration with actor Leonardo DiCaprio. The plot follows Leonardo DiCaprio's US Marshal called Teddy, who, along with his partner Chuck, played by Mark Ruffalo, go to an island named Shutter Island, which is the home of a mental asylum for the criminally insane, after a young female patient named Rachel Solando disappears from her cell one night. So these guys are sent in to kind of investigate, interrogate, and try and find Rachel. Now, anybody who's seen the trailer for this movie will know pretty much what to expect. Leonardo DiCaprio uncovers some sort of conspiracy on the island. All is not as it seems, and he has to try and figure it out and, you know, get out alive kind of situation. It's a film that we've kind of seen a trillion times before. However, this is probably the best kind of interpretation of that sort of plot. I want to make it clear that Shutter Island, I absolutely loved this film. I thought it was fantastic. But then again, when you've got Martin Scorsese directing, you come to expect that kind of, that level of quality. And it's really interesting to see him apply his talents to a story which could have quite easily been just kind of a cliched horror movie. But in the hands of Martin Scorsese, he manages to turn it into something really fantastic. I think it's safe to say that Leonardo DiCaprio's performance as Teddy the US Marshal is probably one of his best performances that I've ever seen. He really does manage some difficult scenes with difficult subject matter, what I really can't go into without spoiling the plot, but anybody who's seen the movie will probably know what I'm referring to. But there are certain scenes where Leonardo DiCaprio just excels and is absolutely fantastic. The old cliched shot of the character looking up in the air to the camera and shouting, "No!" This is probably the first film that I've seen where it works, and it's all thanks to Leonardo DiCaprio. He's fantastic in this film. He manages to play certain just different aspects of his kind of personality, but to a T. You know, he really kind of goes from angry to all these different emotions, but really sells it. It never feels forced. It never feels like Leonardo DiCaprio's just said to himself, right, I want to show what I can do and show my level of range. He really does become this character, and as the revelations about his character come, you know, thick and fast towards kind of the third act of the film, he manages to stick with it, and he's really committed to the role and to the film, and really does make it fantastic. Mark Ruffalo is also brilliant in this film, and as you've probably guessed, there is a twist ending, and when you go back and watch the film in a new context, the subtleties of Mark's performance really do shine through, and he does a great job, and you really get the feeling that the twist ending isn't something that Martin Scorsese decided to just tag on to pull the rug from under the audience, but something that they've been planning all along. And I thought it was just absolutely brilliant how all the actors, even like Ben Kingsley and stuff, but especially Mark Ruffalo, how all the actors manage to deliver such a multi-layered performance. So when you watch it the first time, it means something, and then when you watch it the second time, it means something completely different. You know, and I think that this kind of level of double meaning and layers to the performances really do test the actors' abilities, but they all come out just doing a great job. They are all brilliant. Without a doubt, the best thing about this movie is Martin Scorsese's direction and Thelma Schumacher's editing, because Scorsese kind of made the choice to mess with the audience's head. He wants the audience to feel like they are going insane, and through Thelma Schumacher's editing, they really do manage to convey this really well. Now, there are scenes where the cuts are so tight that they could look like continuity errors, like you'll have a character reach into the jacket for a box of cigarettes, and then you'll cut to a different angle and they'll reach in again for a box of cigarettes. But this is not a mistake, this is intentional, because in the film there are scenes where characters are holding something and then it'll cut to another angle and the hand is there empty with nothing in it. The one that springs to mind is where a woman talking to Leonardo DiCaprio is drinking a glass of water. She picks up, now don't quote me on this because I could quite easily be wrong, but I think she picks up an empty glass, takes it to her mouth, it cuts and it shows her holding nothing, pretending to drink, and then she puts it back on the a table and it's full. You know, something like that. Martin Scorsese and Thelma Schumacher really wanted to mess with the audience's head so that you have a double take. You're watching it and think, wait, hang on, well, something about that didn't look right, you know, and you don't always, it sounds obvious, but you don't always pick up on it. And it kind of just gives it this unnerving feel, like you're kind of uncomfortable watching it because it feels disjointed in its editing, but in a good way. It makes you kind of squirm in your seat a little bit because there's something about the film that's not quite right, and this perfectly encapsulates the plot and the twists and turns, and it really does make for a very unique but very brilliant viewing experience. Martin Scorsese also litters the films with technical aspects of his filmmaking, which we have all come to kind of expect from him. He does a really long, like 30-second tracking shot, which takes place in one of Leonardo DiCaprio's flashbacks. Now, I don't want to ruin it, but it's a fantastic shot. It's one that really sticks in your mind. It's quite haunting, with the camera just looking at these events for about 30 seconds without cutting. And it was really brave, to be honest, you know, on Scorsese's part. But then again, you know, he is the master of this kind of filmmaking, as we saw in Goodfellas with the Steadicam shot, you know. He always brings this level of filmmaking genius to whatever project he's approaching and never reins it in. So I honestly think that Martin Scorsese's flair of directing is a big part of what makes the movie brilliant. The only reason that this movie is not going to get top marks from me is the fact that it is predictable. I figured the whole thing out. I can pinpoint the scene as well, but I won't tell you it because it might ruin it. But it was about 5 minutes in. About 5 minutes into the film, there was a very subtle thing that you barely notice. And I was like, oh, that's gonna, you know, the ending's going to be this, and this. You know, it pretty much was, you know. Maybe not down to the T, but I did kind of guess it. And it's that predictability that really kind of, you know, just knocks a star off it. But otherwise, it's just brilliant. It is classical filmmaking. This is the reason we go to the movies, to be sucked into a film. So I absolutely loved this film. Yes, it's predictable, and it would have been nice to have the plot kind of be a bit more fresh. But on the most part, it's fantastic, and I recommend that anybody who likes Martin Scorsese or just likes film in general go and see this, because it's brilliant and you won't regret it. It's probably one of the best films I've seen in a long time. A star rating, like I said, it can't get top marks because of its predictability, but it's 4 stars. Had the plot not been as predictable, then it would easily get 5, but at the moment it's 4. I highly recommend it, like I said, and you could do a lot worse than a night watching Shutter Island. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. Thanks to everybody who rates, comments and subscribes. You're all absolutely brilliant. This is CivilianSnowman signing out. I'll see you later. Bye.